So, it's actually very humid. Just 1 second. Alright, that should be better. What's good, y'all? Why every single time I'm outside there's a plane? Dang, it's a freaking airplane show or what? Alright, so today we're talking lens hoods. Number one, why do we use them? Dang, I just can't. This just isn't working. It's like a freaking airplane show. What the heck is going on? Alright, back to what I was saying. So, number one, why do we use them? And two, what are they actually used for? So I don't know about you, but when I first started, I really just thought these were kind of like, not necessarily decorations. Like, I knew it was for something, I just didn't know what. And I saw people putting it on this way, and then obviously this way. I saw different shapes, sizes, and things like that. So we're gonna go over a few things. So a lens hood is actually to block out light. So if you're trying to shoot video or photography, anything like that, this is customized to the lens that you have. So that's why you actually see different shapes, sizes, and things like that. So this one right now, since I'm using the 24-105 on the EOS R, this actually came with this camera. I was gonna say computer for a second. This came with this camera. So depending on what kind of camera and stuff that you have, or I guess, you know, the manufacturer, you may or may not get one with the actual lens or camera that you bought. But you know, it's just like a piece of plastic, so I think it should always be thrown in. There's a whole bunch of spiders right here for some reason. And I don't do bugs. So if I keep looking over here, that's why, because there's a spider trying to, anyway. So yes, this helps block out light. So in a day like this where it's not really that many clouds and it's super bright, this will come in handy. So right now, obviously I don't have a lens filter. See, and I can't get my words right because this spider, okay, we're going inside. Right there. Even though he's small, I don't want to be disturbed by it. I can't focus. He keeps going. Yeah, no, see ya. Yeah, I just couldn't do the whole, you know, I'm not necessarily a bug person, so if that bug would've, well, that spider, not even a bug, the spider would've jumped on my camera, it just would've been a whole situation. But anyway, we're inside now. I honestly don't even remember where I left off, so we're just gonna jump right back into it. So lens hoods is basically just to block out light. So that's one thing that I did think, you know, when I first started, is that these were only for like outdoors, like, you know, harsh lighting or something like that. I was like, well, I guess this is only for outdoors. Like, you know, no. Anytime you're trying to block out light, you can use a lens hood. So unless you're going for like an artistic kind of vibe, you can actually use it too to block out light streaking. So if you're not familiar with exactly like what light streaking is, so you know when you go to take a picture sometimes and the light is actually glaring onto the screen or onto the picture that you took, so you have either like just like a white blob or maybe an orange blob or a green blob, something like that. That can actually help with that. So it's gonna make your images a little bit more contrasty, not necessarily all washed out and things like that. So it can give you a more clear image without you trying to, you know, have to deal with those light streaks later. Unless that's the artistic look that you're going for, then obviously you wouldn't necessarily put a lens hood on. Now, to use lens hoods in indoors, obviously if you have like real harsh studio lighting, or if you're just using a light that you don't want to bounce or reflect onto your lens, then you would put a lens hood on at that point to block out the light. So one thing that helped me learn is, you know, when people say like ND filters are equivalent to shades for cameras, so it's kind of the same thing with this. It's kind of like a hat. Like, I made that analogy for myself, is it's kind of like a hat, so to speak, or like a visor type thing for your camera. So, you know, if you have a hat and it has like the little, what is this piece even called on a hat? I don't know, but you know what I'm talking about. The actual thing, you know, whatever. So that is kind of like a lens hood. So it's blocking light in certain directions. One thing I will say though is, since this is customized, you don't necessarily want to put a lens hood that isn't for your lens on, if that makes sense. So some lens hoods may fit even if it wasn't made specifically for that lens that you're using, but sometimes you can get some vignetting. So if you're using like a wide angle lens and then you put a lens hood on that's used for like, you know, I don't know, a macro, if that even fits. I don't know. If you're using basically another lens hood that's not customized for your lens, it can give you some vignetting on the side. Yeah, you really just want to try to use the lens hood that's for your lens so that way you don't have any problem. If you have a camera that has a built-in flash on top, sometimes the lens hoods can cast a shadow if you're trying to use that flash. So if you're trying to take a picture or something and the lens hood is in the way, you can actually get a shadow of where this might be, or, you know, sometimes you don't, sometimes you do, but that's just one thing to keep in mind. So if you can help it, you can always take a tester to see if it does cast a shadow, and if it doesn't, you're good. If it does, you're probably gonna want to take the lens hood off and maybe slap an ND filter on and hope that, you know, you're good. And also, when I first was learning about lens hoods, someone made the point that this can also protect your lens. You know, obviously if you have it on like this, you have this as protection. So if you accidentally bump, you know, your lens on the wall or whatever, instead of it actually hitting your lens glass, it's gonna hit, you know, the lens hood. So, I mean, that's a plus, right? You don't want to necessarily damage or scratch your lens if you don't have any other protection on it. So if you have this, if you accidentally like, hey guys, you know, at least this can help you out somewhat. Unless it's like a pointy object and it goes inside, let's just hope you have an ND filter. And then if it pops the ND filter, let's just hope that it didn't actually damage your lens. But all right, y'all, I hope that helped you out just a teeny. I know, you know, if you probably are a pro and everything, you already know X, Y, and Z about probably all the cameras and all that jazz. But when I was first starting, I honestly had no clue what the heck this lens hood was for, what it was used for, why there was different shapes and sizes. So I just thought, you know, it'd be a kind of informational video or educational video, I guess, on those who don't necessarily know why this piece of plastic is in the camera bag. Now you know. But anyway, y'all, don't forget to do all the things, the liking, the subscribing, the commenting. All right, y'all, I'm out.